hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. The claws in my heart, I can't let go, I'm breaking apart, controlling me, controlling me.
I love Brian.
Oh, jeez.
I love you, Brian. Spoon me.
Whoa.
That's awesome. Hey, welcome everybody to the Wednesday edition of the Paranormal Mayhem. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I now love Brian Gaska more than I should.
Oh, well, that's probably true.
Yeah, I don't. I may be 50, but I'm really immature, so it all balances
So
out.
35 makes sense. Yeah, no problem.
That's right. Just ask any of my exes. And as you can tell, I'm not alone here. I got Mr. Longbeard on deck with me, but I hope you're all ready because it's time for some mayhem. So how about we do a show, ladies and gentlemen? Me and my good friend Don Longbeard are here waiting for you.
Oh, thank God you waited to push that button because I just picked my nose.
You just digging for gold over there?
You know, you got to love moments like that.
You do, and I'm more impressed with the fact of how open you are about that moment.
I'm just a guy.
Hey, I was just picking my nose. Good thing you didn't switch that. Only here on the Portal, ladies and gentlemen, where anything and everything is bound to happen. Now, just for instance, Don, what was going on with my laptop?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I was out of the house all day today.
Gone.
I was gone. I used up both my computers. I have the main computer here with monitors and stuff showing me all the things that I need to handle. And then over here I have my laptop, which controls the monitor you see behind us and puts that cool portal thing up or just the Paranormal Portal logo. So today I get home from being out and about all day with me and the missus and the minion and a friend of mine. And we got home and Don's here and we're getting ready to record one of our podcasts, excuse me. And I turn on the computer over here, black screen. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Nothing. It's on. I rebooted it like 15 times. Nothing. Just a black screen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I finally thought, well, I'm going to unplug the HDMI cable that connects to this monitor. And as soon as I did that, boom, it had an image on the screen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Somehow my display settings got ganked on me. So I go into the display settings using the big screen back here. And I reset it so it's using the monitor here on the actual laptop, but somehow the settings got absolutely screwed up. Now, there's no way that should have happened. There's no way that should have happened. Now I know computers. I did IT for years. I'm not a computer noob. I know there are things that can happen. There are malware and things that can really screw with settings, but I clean my computers all the time. I sweep them all the time. I've got a firewall on this, not just the out-of-the-box Microsoft one. I'm pretty careful about that kind of stuff. Not that I couldn't have missed something, but I mean, honestly.
That's something that's not going to happen unless somebody did it.
Right. That's the thing. Somehow or another, my house is locked all day. Nobody's here. I mean, I have home security, so it's not like, my house is completely open. Nobody came in, nothing happened, but my computer
Just
was screwed up. I mean, and I thought for sure the monitor died, except that I went into the BIOS and the monitor's working fine. So it's like, wow. So another quirky thing from the Paranormal Portal. Is it paranormal? I can't say that, obviously. I don't know. But it sure is weird as hell. Like, I mean, really? How the hell did that happen? So that's just the way things roll around here. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's my birthday. I am another year older. Probably not any wiser, but I'm older. And that's why I named the episode What I Did Tonight, because I was trying to put it out there. Hey, guys, it's my birthday. But thank you to all of you who stopped by my Facebook page and wished me happy birthday and stuff. That was really cool. I've never had such an amazing, number of birthday wishes before. So, and I did respond to every one of them so far. If you've since left a message and I haven't responded to you, I will get to you. I will answer.
Here's your
all of
official
them.
notice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have time.
It's the rubber stamp. And I understand people doing that. It's like, hey, to everybody wish me a happy birthday, thank you. But I just thought, if everybody takes that time, even if it's just to share that Facebook thing, that's still cool to me. It's like, hey, you're acknowledging that, that it's my day. So the least I can do is respond. So thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. That's really cool. And it really started my day off epic to wake up and have a bunch of messages. So I love you all, and you truly are the family. So
there you go. Hey, speaking of family, guess who else's birthday it is today?
Who else's?
Randy Dawn.
Randy Dawn.
It's
It is her
her
birthday.
birthday
That's
today.
right. I remember looking at the Facebook thing and going, hey, she's cool.
Hey, Stacy, how are you?
Hey, Miss Stacy. How you doing?
Shout
Good to see you.
out to everybody,
And
actually.
who's in here?
Yeah, let me roll through that list real quick, because hopefully it's
And
a
the
good
list always grows, but
Here's this is a pretty good one.
okay.
So we have Armand Adams. We got Aussie Tiger. Bigfoot Michigan Rob. We got Black Tree with a wrench right there. Brian Gaska, who is looking to get to be Brent's best friend right now.
He is my best friend right now. He doesn't have to look. He's already there. He's in the inner circle.
Our dear friend Deb is here. Gemini Moon, Hacker, Hollywood, Michael Holtz, Nellie Moen, Nicholas Williams. Is that the one that called in last night?
Nick, yeah, that is Nick.
I'm gonna have to. I missed that. I'm sorry, Nicholas. I have to go back and listen to that. I didn't catch any of it, but I heard it was pretty darn interesting.
Yeah.
Pam E. Paranormal Patty Cake. No, Portal. Right. There's our friend Stacy, Virginia, and this guy down here in blue. That would be me, Mr. Aether Archives.
Cool. And Virginia called in last night, too.
Did she?
2 great call-ins last night. And as well as the night before, we had, I think it was the night before, Christy called in. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the first things I'd like to do, since she did give us permission, is I want to show you guys that video. She did send it to me. And I got to tell you, it's pretty freaking epic. It is really a good video, good capture.
Well, set this up because I don't know anything about it.
So she said that I think it was her daughter and husband I think that's who it was. But they have a security camera that goes under this carport because they have stuff there and they got a lot of shady people, so they want to keep an eye on it. So it films what's going on in there. So in case somebody steals something, they'll see it, have some evidence of who took it, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
Doing what security cameras do. So for some reason one night, the security camera is triggered and nothing appears on screen. However, there's a cooler in the fishing boat right in front of the camera, and the one handle on the cooler is up. And then as you watch it, it goes down to the side like this, and then boom, drops. It is an epic capture. It was really cool. I want to show that to you guys right now. So let me figure out where the hell that is, because I got some
video.
Right, there it is. Yep. Yep. All right. So let's see.
Sounds like Muppets.
We already got a call.
Yep. What?
It looks like it might be Jess.
It might be.
It might be Jess. But let me show this video first, guys, and then we'll
Hold that line.
get to the call that's on the line. So just 1 second here as I play this video. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so here's the video. I hope this opens correctly. No, I did. Oh, I already opened. No, I don't need this. Man, I'm telling you, I'm just running on.
Today's the day.
Yeah,
It's allowed. He's the big 5-0.
I gotta find it now.
He's suffering from.
I've got. There's Alzheimer's disease, and then there's old timers. I got old timers. So here it is. All right.
Excellent. We got it. Excellent.
Let me wait just a sec. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna back it up, and I'm gonna put it on the screen for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, so it is on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is the video, and it is shaky because they're recording the video with like a cell phone or whatever.
Oh, they're recording it from the. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I don't think it's the actual video feed footage. But anyway, check this out, guys. Look at that cooler. This is where you're focusing for this footage. Very epic. Look at that handle.
Oh, it is moving down.
Look at that. That is epic. Is that not a fantastic capture?
Huh.
Right? So you can tell it's one of those handles that kind of
It's just but,
kind of flips around.
But usually, if they're up in a position, they usually stay in that position.
Right. They don't.
And that looked like it was all the way up, like they had just put it down.
Right.
It's not like they had thrown it off to the side or not whatnot.
Nope.
It looked like it was standing pretty straight up there.
Let's see it again. Look at that. It's going out. There's absolutely nothing there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Boom. There it goes. Now, before anybody gets stupid and anybody decides to start troll this, could it be fake? Sure. But here's the thing. It's a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the in-laws recorded this and shared it with her. They didn't put it out on YouTube. They didn't put it everywhere else. They just said, "Hey, check this out. We got this on cam." She calls in and shares it with me. So there's no motivation to hoax something like this.
Right. No.
It was just something shared in a family. She got permission to show it to us. And of course they said yes. I mean, not of course, but they did say yes. But
they said, "Oh yeah, Brent and Don, yeah, sure."
Right. One more time. Yeah, Brent and Don, of course. But there it is. And you can see that handle is clearly, it's not just lifting up. It's going out to the side and it's suspended there. Now, that's on a hinge. That's just on a hinge. So there's nothing that should be allowing it to stay that way naturally.
Right. There shouldn't be any resistance there. It should have just flipped right over.
Exactly. So very cool. I think that is just phenomenal, amazing footage. And thank you so much for sending that in, Christy. That's awesome. I'm absolutely honored to show it on the show. It's like a birthday present.
Oh. Oh.
It is though, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was very fond of that. So thank you so much again. Very, very, very cool. All right. So let's get to our caller here. All right. This is area code 480. You are on the air.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Milestone. Happy birthday to you and many more, you gassy dwarf. How's that?
The dwarf. Remember the card?
Oh, yes.
The dwarves, gas.
Drinking the nectar of the gods. Well, happy birthday to you. I got to get back to work.
Oh, thank you,
Peace out.
Jess. Peace
See
out.
ya.
Thank you. Love you.
Happy big 5-0.
Thanks a bunch.
Well, that was definitely Jess.
Only Jess could call in like that. Very,
That's awesome.
very cool.
That's
That
sad that I had to remind you it was on the card, though. It was like,
Well, it's the day I've had, brother.
that's true. Yeah,
I've had
it's been a long day.
a day. I'm not overly fond of my own birthdays because, quite honestly, they're just another day in the year. And it just means I'm getting older. And, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, in some ways, I've always felt old anyway, even though my body was young.
He's talking about an old soul.
Right. Well, I mean, and physically. I felt like I've been about eight. Actually, no, I'm not going to go into my medical history. But I will tell you this. When I was born, my ribs were kind of screwy and my lungs didn't have room to develop. So... this has nothing to do with the show, by the way, but it's just me talking. So just to give you an idea why I feel old. So I went to the University of Minnesota to a lung specialist to have him test out my lungs and see what was going on. They hooked me up. They hooked me up to a computer, which then measures your breathing, and they have you do all these breathing tests. The person tests me, goes, never seen that before. And I said, what's that? He goes, well, according to our computer, your lungs test out at about a 110-year-old man.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's just because they're shallow. I mean,
Right.
my lungs are not as uber developed as everyone else's because of the misshapen rib cage, which, I had surgery on when I was 6, but that's an awful lot of years. So apparently... all this time, I don't know how old my lungs are right now, but back then they were a 110-year-old man.
So, one of our chatters, Susan, she says, you guys cracked me up in the podcast today when you were speaking alien. I actually have just a kind of a vague memory of doing that. It was like those shows go so quick.
They do, and the thing is we've been doing this, of course, for a long time. So it's not much different than Don and I just sitting around talking anyway. And all the stupid things we would say to each other. Now we just have microphones. So doing the show is pretty much just us talking, and I'm glad you guys find it entertaining. We love doing it, of course, and
Yes.
it's really cool that you guys take an
Yes.
interest in that. And by the way, for all of you listening, the only thing I want for my birthday is for all of you to go check out our new
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
That's what I want.
We need downloads on that.
We do. We need traction. It's just starting out, and it's one of those things. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I mean, the horse still has some life in her. So
Get it.
So I'm beating a live horse. But it's just really important to get that traffic around it, because that
right.
definitely establishes us and will help to promote the show.
Right.
And so I hope you guys will do that if you don't mind. I mean, it's something we're really excited about, and if you could help, that'd be cool. So
Sweet. So Nicholas, he says, we camp all the time. You must lift the handle all the way up to get it to fall over. So he's talking about the cooler there.
yeah, that is so cool. I mean, but I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it as stupid as that sounded, honestly. But well, it came out, and I was just like, God, that sounded dumb.
Well, it's nice to know that people looked at it. They actually looked at it and went, you know what, that kind of doesn't make sense, or that's kind of interesting because of this, and simple things like what Nicholas just said. Is it Nick or Nicholas?
Well,
Okay.
I guess you can call him either. He didn't really say.
Okay, but him saying, you got to pull them all the way up.
Yeah.
And you're right, because they work on a pivot. Yeah, you would have to pull all the way up to give it the room to flip over, depending on, well, it depends on what kind they are, but
Right.
you would still have less resistance. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. That's awesome.
This is my phone all day. It's awesome. It's wonderful. But I'm getting a call right now, but I'll have to send a message. Keep talking, Don.
Oh, so anyhow, but just wanted to throw that in there. Is today Beltane? Today's Beltane, isn't it?
It is. Which is the celebration of Beltane, or the Belanos, the god of the sun.
Yes.
Yes, it's my day. I'm
Apparently
just saying.
killing them in there.
No, and Randy Dunn's, of course, too.
Right.
So, it's been a great day, and thank you so much again for the phone. Oh, somebody else is calling in. Now let's see who this
Ah,
is.
that's your new best buddy right there.
It's my new buddy. How you doing, new buddy? Brian's been a long time buddy though. How you doing, brother?
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Hey guys. How
Okay.
you doing?
I got a question. Am I calling the UK line?
No, there is no UK line on our phone.
Yeah, you can't butt dial us this time.
Yeah, we only have this line.
Okay, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, what Brian's referring to is one night he went to sleep and he somehow butt dialed the UK line, and was on it for like 3 hours. So he had to basically give up a kidney to pay for his phone that month. So
Shit. I had to sell my nephew.
well, you can get a good price for some of them. Good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. How's your life going, brother?
Okay. Up and down, but
Right.
that's not the focus of today's show. We're going to have fun.
It is
Right.
a
When does
birthday
that
celebration. It's already started, Don. If you didn't notice. It's
Is
already
he picking his nose still?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure where this other hand is, though.
What? One hand
Okay.
on the jug.
Oh, so how,
All right. I just wanted to say happy birthday. Thank
Awesome.
you guys. I love you.
hey, we love you too,
I
brother.
love you both. Happy birthday, Brent.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It's
For
great.
50. Sorry, I made that joke. You look 35.
What do you mean joke? What do you
He
mean?
thought you were serious, bro.
No, you look good.
Don't take that away from me, man. Don't do it. I need that.
I'm not gonna. I'm fighting for you.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling in.
Nice
It's
to hear,
great to
bro.
hear from you.
All right, love you guys.
I love you too, man.
Love
Take
you
care.
too, bud. Well, that's Mr. Brian.
All right, see you.
That's,
you go.
yeah, he's a great guy. Brian's been a part of the
Yes, he
Paranormal
is.
Portal for, I don't know, years. I guess
Yeah.
he's been a part of everything we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's been, watching us from our meager beginnings until
Yeah.
our less meager beginnings now. I don't know. I don't know that we've necessarily mounted any huge mountains or anything yet, but I think we're on the right path.
I think so.
I think the portal's growing, and it's again largely due to you guys out there.
Yes,
You guys make this
absolutely.
happen, and of course we're truly humbled by that.
Yes, absolutely.
Good to thanks, Ken. Got a happy birthday from Ken from down under. It might not be my birthday anymore in your neck of the
No,
woods.
it's actually dinner time in his place.
No, I mean it's like tomorrow in his place.
Yeah, dinner time tomorrow. I forgot
Yeah.
to say tomorrow.
Yeah. So Ken's already passed my birthday, but we're still celebrating it over here, brother.
Well, Pam, if
Exactly,
you really
Deb. Deb says I'm 38.
yeah, she's jumping on that bandwagon too. Pam E says, "I wish I would have found you guys in the beginning." Well, honestly, all of our stuff is out there in public domain. You can find all of it.
I wouldn't say public domain so much
Well.
as that it's available.
Well, okay, fine.
I mean, it's
Okay.
still ours, but
Okay, fine.
yeah.
But you can definitely still find it. Some of it you might have to sign up for something or this, that, or the other.
well, I think most of it is here on
Most of-
YouTube.
yeah, all the YouTube stuff's here.
Yep.
All of it.
And that really, I mean,
Except
honestly,
for that one episode.
there was a long time where there was a lot of things going wrong, and they're out there on the YouTube. I haven't taken down any of our episodes ever.
No.
I mean, from things just going to hell and trying to do an episode and having technical problems like you wouldn't believe, disconnecting from the main network while we're just gabbing away, and then getting screamed at in chat rooms. Hey, where'd you guys go? It's like, oh no. I mean, we've had so many things go wrong in our journey. We've had technical issues you wouldn't believe. We had,
We've been interrupted by MIBs.
yes. We got knocked off the air by MIB one time. I mean, we were doing a show about MIB once, and all of a sudden
Crazy.
our connection was dead.
And then
we could
looped.
not connect for about 15 minutes. And then we
was
did
horrible.
connect, And we got such a feedback loop of echoes that it was just unbelievable. We have a soundbite of that somewhere.
Well, yeah, and we had a ghost loop of an earlier episode you had with Ms. Deb too.
Yes,
she was premiered in that loop.
It was like a different
It was
episode.
creepy, actually.
Of Deb and I came on and started looping, and then we were looping on top of that, and it was just crazy. I don't know if I have that soundbite here. Maybe I do. Something just flew by on my monitor over here.
The ghost box is gone.
It did go.
The ghost app's down.
It minimized. What the hell? Nothing going on though. I just saw something in my peripheral vision go boom. My ghost application minimized itself. Fell right off my screen. I'm gonna look for that soundbite, Don.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
that we're talking about it.
That'd be great. I wish I still had it on this computer, but when I got the new one, I transferred it over. So I unfortunately
don't know if I do either, though. That's the problem.
I think
it might be on the laptop, huh?
It probably would be, because you might want to check there. So maybe check for MIB loop.
Yeah, let me see. I'll look over here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the original. The laptop is the original computer we used to do the show. And I guess this is good. You ever watch the old Brady Bunch episodes? Hey, remember when Marcia got hit by the football? And like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's like tonight's show. Tonight's show apparently is going to be that. At least part of it. Let me see if I can find it.
It's not finding it here, so
No, that's fine. I know I have it here.
Dang.
It's the 100th episode.
Yes, it was definitely the 100th episode.
Where we showcased a lot of those clips.
Gosh, that was awesome.
Yeah, okay, we got to play this for you guys.
And Deb says it was kind of cool.
It's kind of cool in like a creepy way, though. Right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because everything went sideways. Let's see, is it the evidence? Yeah, 100th episode. Here we go. All right, so let me see. There's Estrella show. Crazy show loop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I'm just going to play it for you. It's audio only, but it definitely...
Watch your volume there, buddy.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I think we're good. All right, here goes. Providing...
Right. The birthright to explore these things. And I think that when we awaken ourselves, we will awaken a better world around us. Right. The birthright to
and it's
explore
coming.
these things. And I think that when we awaken ourselves, we will awaken a better world around us. Right.
And it's coming.
And I think that when we awaken ourselves,
We're off.
we will awaken a better world around
We
us.
Hold on. Keep playing that loop.
and it's coming.
I'm on. I got green here.
When we awaken ourselves, we will awaken a better world around us.
Don's freaking me out.
Yeah, and it's coming.
So this loop is just crazy. It just keeps going.
Yeah, this is the loop that we were trying to get on and couldn't.
And every time we said something, it added it to the loop.
Yeah, so pretty soon you're going to hear me start to go, hey, check this out. I can hear this. And then it just loops and loops and builds. It keeps getting more bizarre. And you can hear it degrading every time it's looping.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting more. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Gemini's crashed too.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not just you, Don. Oh, Julia's did too.
Wow. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Every
Welcome
time we play this loop.
Sound quality.
Oh,
there it is.
here comes me coming in. You can hear me. I don't know if anybody else can. I have no idea what's going on.
The sound quality is just getting
I
worse.
can hear me now talking. You can hear me. I don't know if anybody else can. I have no idea what's going on.
The sound quality is just getting
I
worse.
can hear me now talking. You can hear me. I don't know if anybody else can.
Clearly,
I have no idea what's going on.
That just gets weirder.
It's in a loop. It's in a freaking loop.
Clearly.
That is just strange. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a loop. That is just strange. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a loop. This is really comical in a spooky
Welcome to the Paranormal
way.
Portal, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a loop.
And then the theme music comes in.
This is really comical in a spooky
way. Wow. Well, there's the theme music, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. Be good. Take care of each other. We'll be back next week with a connection that works. Wow. Wow. Well, there's the theme music, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. Be good. Take care of each other. We'll be back next week with a connection that works.
God, that was just
Right.
a creepy thing.
So that's the loop, ladies and gentlemen. And now the background on that is we did a Men in Black episode, and things just boom. We got knocked off the air. We couldn't do anything about it. Couldn't reconnect. And then apparently, what had happened was the TFR network, which is our mother network, automatically defaulted to a back episode just to cover the space, because that's just the backup that Chris had built into it. And so it started playing that, but then when we reconnected, that soundbite just kept looping and degrading and looping and degrading and degrading until it just got bassy.
Yeah.
And then we could talk and that would loop, and it was just, I mean, literally I had a headache after that show, like a migraine. It was
crazy.
It was a bizarre night. So
Do you remember who called in that night?
no. Who?
Randy Dawn.
Randy Dawn did?
Yeah, she called in and told us about her MIB story.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a bizarre night.
So a lot of people in the chat, apparently their YouTube is crashing.
Right. Exactly. And so do we need to say more? That's the kind of weirdness that goes on with the portal. And that's why I say, whatever is this show is an enigma. And I mean that sincerely. Like there's just strangeness that happens as a result of doing a paranormal show. I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but just it's so bizarre.
It is.
And how long is the loop?
We played the entire loop. So
that was the whole thing.
It was like 3 or 4 minutes.
So we got knocked off at about the last 20 minutes. We couldn't connect for 15 of them. Then we could, and that last about 5 minute segment or 4 minute segment was all that was left of the show. And that's, it was just strange. And now that's even weirder that tonight Don got locked and bumped off. Several of you listeners out there got bumped off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. There's a weird energy attached to it or something.
That's funny because
don't
Teresa Del Vega just said interesting spiritual or energy parasite.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but just so much strangeness. Let Kev Baker know. Well, Kev's got his own deal. This is just something that happens on the portal. I'm sure Kev is pretty acutely aware of the portal, and we are of his show, being on the same network and such. But yeah, I mean,
That was 177 episodes ago, by the way.
was it really?
Yeah.
How many episodes are we on?
It's
on TFR.
It's 277 on TFR.
Okay, and then we've got many more on YouTube as
Right.
well, especially with the advent of the bedtime stories. So
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
it just keeps compiling.
So 177 TFR episodes ago.
So
That
that's
was a
Friday
long
and
time
Saturday
ago.
nights.
Right.
That's how long we've been doing the show, I guess. But very cool. I don't know if there's. Let me look in that folder, see if any other strangeness came up.
That was creepy. When we played it on the 100th episode, people were like, "Hey, what's wrong with your shows? What's going on?"
Well,
and it was like, "No, that happened on a show before."
yeah. Well, I mean, you remember when we also showcased reading Estrella's Marshall's letter,
Right.
And his daughter Estrella. Marshall lost his wife, unfortunately due to suicide, and it's a horribly tragic thing. And Marshall. He said his daughter Estrella was a fan of the show, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dedicate an episode for her. That's really cool.
Right.
And so I did. And Marshall sent me in the story to read on the show.
Scent of Beauty.
It was. I even now as I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
I'm starting to tear up and get chills. But honest to God, it broke my heart. And I read that story over and over and over for the week leading up
He
to
had
that
to
show.
practice reading it.
Trying to get through it so that I wouldn't break down, and then I still broke down during the show.
Yep.
I don't know. If I play it now, I'm just going to cry, because it's. But you have to understand,
Bittersweet.
It is bittersweet because that family is just such a beautiful family, and even in the face of all that tragedy, they have done something extraordinary. I mean, Marshall is just such an exceptional father. He's such an amazing guy, and he's kept that traditions and stuff that they all did together alive and they continue to honor her.
Right.
And it's just so beautiful, and it's and it's amazing. But it's one of those stories that I as honored as I was to be given the opportunity to share that, it's still, even when I think about it now, it breaks my heart. I just get chills.
Do you have the sound file?
Yeah,
People
I
are
do.
asking for it.
You want to hear that? Oh, okay. All right. That's going to be a tough one for me. Oh,
Well, it's tough for both of us actually, because that was like the show, like the week before I started with you.
yeah.
That was like the week before, and I was like, I tuned into it, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
But the difference is you have it recorded, so you can just play it instead of have to read it.
Yeah.
But
And
it's such a it's a great story.
I'll play it just because you guys are asking for it, but I'm playing it in honor
Yes.
of that family.
Yes.
And the beauty that they've made out of such tragedy. So
And I saw Marshall today posted some. He's had a rough day the last couple days, and apparently his daughter has too.
Yeah.
So maybe this will help them get centered again.
Okay.
It's always a hope.
Here it comes.
It's hard to read. So if I fall apart, please just bear with me. This is tough, but I want to read this email, and stick with me as I try to make it through. And Marshall, thank you for letting me do this. He says, "What's going on? Thank you for what you do. Your show has always been one of my favorites, and now my daughter's favorite as well. I don't know how much of the story you want to use, but you have my permission to use whatever you like. I'm not good at storytelling, so I'll let you be the judge. I'm so sorry. I tried over and over through the week to keep reading this so that it wouldn't be so hard, but it is. Yeah, shoot. First, our background. On August 17th, 2015, we lost my wife and Australia's mother to suicide. I'm so sorry. Wow. 2 months later, we lost two of our dogs. And on Christmas Day, 2 months later, we lost our pride and joy dog. They all got ran over. Our dogs were a big part of our family, so it was just one punch after another. Now to the ghost story about my wife. Sorry. This is called the scent of beauty. 1 week after losing my wife, my daughter and I were getting ready for bed. We were talking earlier on the day that we hadn't seen or felt Mom since she died, and both of us were kind of disappointed because we fully believe in spirits. As we tucked ourselves in, all of a sudden, the room filled up with the scent of Mom. Her perfume, her body, and her hair. Amazed, we looked at each other with our eyes very wide and with excitement, and said at the same time, Mom's here. We just laid in bed talking and crying for about an hour before, as we believe, she left. This was my only experience. Now my daughter sees and feels her all the time. We have stuff move constantly, and things get hidden on a daily basis, which is awesome. This last summer, my oldest daughter was visiting from Phoenix, and we were throwing her a going away party. She was making her way around getting pictures with everyone when I went to take a picture of my daughter and my wife's best friend. They both felt a hand go on each other's shoulders. They both at the same time looked to see who was there, but there was no one. They quickly realized my wife was getting into the picture too. I hope I didn't butcher these stories too bad. Thanks a lot for all you do. By the way, my wife's name was Amanda. And I'm including a picture of my beautiful wife. Thank you so much. I just need a minute. Hold on.
Man, that tears me up still. Oof.
I muted my mic the entire time.
Yeah. It still makes the tears fall. It's not a sad story though, because they made something beautiful out of that, and what an amazing family, and to send it in to me, of all people, I was so deeply touched and honored by that, but it's still just, God. Oof. But anyway, that's the probably the hardest thing I've ever done on the show. Was just sharing that story and wanting to do it well, because
Right.
when somebody gives you something like that, you don't want to.
You want to honor it by presenting it properly.
Right. Yeah. And I came back and said, Marshall, you're doing it right. And he does. They still continue the traditions they did a lot when she was there. And,
Yep.
and I'm sure she's still there. I'm sure she's still an active part of that family. I mean, Estrella experiences her mother all the time. And I think that that's beautiful. But yeah, really, really powerful. And still really, really tough to hear. Sorry. Do you mind if I gotta give us a little break here just for a second. I gotta blow my face.
We'll
and
be
stuff.
back in a moment. Hang tight.
We'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not ready. Just make sure that you're well fed.
All right, guys, we're back, and we are continuing our journey through this show tonight. It's been a lot of flashbacks, and it really is a flashback episode. We haven't jumped the shark yet, though. You know where that saying comes from?
I have no idea.
Okay, so Jumping the Shark comes from Happy Days, wildly popular show until Fonzie jumped the shark, and that was when the ratings just plummeted. When they did the Fonzie Jumping the Shark episode. So now...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so now they call it Jumping the Shark whenever something happens that makes a show suck. Or anything suck, for that matter. You know, and so, yep, that's where it comes from. But thank you guys for all your compassion and kindness. I really appreciate it. And you know, I'm not embarrassed to show my emotions. I think that's just honest, you know. It's a sad, painful thing. And, of course, a lot of you in the chat rooms have been sharing a lot of your tragedies as well, which makes my heart ache as
Right.
well. I'm so sorry, Pam, what you experienced, but I'm so thrilled that you had that moment.
Right.
Fonzie jumped the shark because they were kind of doing an Evel Knievel kind of episode.
Right.
Evel Knievel was huge at that time, and so the whole stunt thing was really big, and you know, it's just, I don't know why they did it. I'm sure they wish they hadn't, but they did. So there you go. But yeah, it's just, emotions are just real, you know. I mean, I cry for sure. I'm not embarrassed by that. And I laugh, and I share that with you all the time as well. So it's just another facet of the paranormal portal. So,
You know, and you know, with all these things happening tonight, you know, we're kind of doing a flashback episode. Well, at least the first half. You know, and then my computer messing up, and then everybody else's computer, and then there's a couple people that are literally saying the same thing, you know, and I typed in there, you know, at the same time, and I typed in there, in the portal we have a certain type of synchronicity. And we really seem to do. We have a synchronicity. You and I have a synchronicity. We have a synchronicity with everybody else. Yeah. And it's just really cool that they can come in here, and that synchronicity leads to trust and safety, because that's something you're also in here. You're safe, you know, and they feel like they can share those stories. Right. And that is just so awesome, you know. So yeah, you know, it really has become a family, and it's become a tight family, and we guard it jealously.
absolutely, we do. It's just how we roll. Jesus, I'm trying to respond. I forgot the last word.
So yeah, so interesting. Well, how did we get on that? We just
started talking about weird things that happened because somebody said they wish they would have caught us back in the beginning, but that was the beginning. That was kind of the beginning of the show.
It kind of was, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what it was like back then, and it's what it's like now. You haven't really missed anything. We're still having those same kind of issues, and you know, we still have the same kind of fun too. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And hopefully the same kind of emotional honesty throughout it all. So whatever that's worth, but I'm absolutely thrilled that our family has grown, and there are more of you out there taking notice of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still getting birthday messages. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
It is. It's really cool. Thank you, Thomas. I don't know if you're listening or not, but he's messaging anyway. So let me.
Armand says that's the way we roll in the portal. That's the only way we can roll in the portal. Absolutely correct. Portal only rolls one way.
Yeah, it's like a stream. You can try to push it backwards, but it's probably just going to go the way it's going to go. So, and that's just the truth of the matter. So,
you go.
Lots of other paranormal stuff going on in the world, Don.
Yeah, like what?
Well, let's see. Let's just find out. Shall we?
Let's actually look for something to talk about.
Well, yeah, I don't want to, I don't mind the flashback stuff. I mean, it's cool to revisit old things and stuff. How about we talk about the Indian Army tweets photos of
sure.
Yeti footprints in the Himalayas?
Go ahead.
I think this is pretty cool. I don't know. I haven't really looked at this yet. I've seen this splashed around today.
Right.
But I don't know what what really they saw or found. I don't know what these photos are. So it says and this is coming from the singular40n.com. Again, I'm liking this site lately. It's just got such neat stuff. So check it out, singular40n.com, FORTEAN.com. All right, so Indian Army tweeted yesterday that a mountaineering expedition team found mysterious footprints belonging to the mythical beast Yeti near Makalu Base Camp on April 9th. Mount Makalu is the 5th highest mountain located east of Everest in the Himalayas. Well, those are the stomping grounds. That's where they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, as far as I understand.
So let's see. Are there any good pictures here? Well, those are interesting. I don't know what the stride length on this. It doesn't look like deep snow. It looks like very shallow snow, like maybe 1.5 inches. I guess I can just put this up here and we'll share it with all of y'all. So here's the pictures that they took. And it said, Yeti are said to haunt the Himalayan mountains of Tibet and are described as large hirsute humanoids covered in reddish-brown hair. The phrase abominable snowman is often used in the West to refer to the Yeti based on the mistranslation of the resident Sherpa's name for them, Meto Kangmir, which actually translates as man-bear snowman. Yeti are similar in appearance to the North American cousin Bigfoot and reportedly display the same baffling behavior, seemingly capable of appearing and disappearing at will among Himalayan snowy peaks. So they're very stealthy. I don't know. Now, that's a pretty impressive track.
Oh, that's actually pretty darn huge.
Yeah, that's a big... And you can see the toe prints in there. It looks like toe prints.
Huh.
So that does look pretty convincing. What the hell is that, though? I don't know what this is. That looks like ninja shoes.
Yeah, those tabbies, yeah.
Yeah, tabby boots, yep. Well, one does. The other one looks like... I don't know what the hell that is. That doesn't look like a...
That looks like a big freaking boot.
Yeah, that does look like
It's
a boot.
too round, there's no real definition to the toes.
Right. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what to think about this. I mean, this is the classic picture, of course, one of the most famous pictures that has come out of Everest by British mountaineer Dr. Ward. Looked like they were made by a two-legged creature. Now, there's a lot of debate about these, whether or not they are indeed a footprint. I think they are, but they've said that there's a possibility that when bears walk, they may re-step into their same footprint. So, in other words,
double step.
Yeah, it's like a double step. But now looking at this, that does look like a very distinct big toe, which would make these the middle toe and then a bunch of smashed together toes over here. I don't know. That's a very old picture. I'm not sure when that was from, but very cool. I don't know. These prints look pretty vague. It says for the first time, this is from the Indian Army. The first time Indian Army mountaineering expedition team has cited mysterious footprints of mythical beast Yeti, measuring 32 by 50 inches close to Makalu base camp on 9th of April, 2019. This elusive snowman has only been sighted at Makalu Barun National Park in the past. With all due respect, institutions such as yours should be more responsible and careful before going ahead declaring the sighting of any footprints as Yetis. There's been a lot of research done on Bigfoot Yeti, including sighting and prints, with none proving its existence.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I guess you've just
There
decided.
you go.
There you go.
There you go. It's decided. There is
Yeah.
no such thing.
Because he can't get his head around it. They don't exist. And I don't know what's up with some people.
Well, but somebody in the chat the other night said that basically there's no DNA, there's no scat, there's nothing to really point to it, but there are the casts, the foot casts, things like that. But it's really that's not empirical evidence.
Well, it is though. I mean, it can't be dismissed.
It can't be dismissed. So
it cannot just be
basically
openly
what
dismissed.
this person said was that it hasn't been proven yet, and this person wants hard, solid evidence, like I do. That's what would bring me around real quick, of course. But we're still willing to look at it and examine it, and give it credence that it deserves. So
well, some people are willing to give it credence, but some people aren't. They just by virtue of
that's
it.
true.
Oh, that's footprints.
That's true.
Baloney. Those don't prove anything. Well, they actually do. Dr. Jeff Meldrum has done extensive research on prints and tracks, and he's stated that look, there's actually maladies that are being casted that a hoaxer wouldn't know about, how it affects things such as the anatomical makeup of a foot if there's certain conditions present. And he said, if this is a fake, this person is wasting their time out in deep woods where nobody will probably ever find it, when they should be making millions of dollars making prosthetic limbs. And that's a good point. I mean, but they're actually duplicating certain maladies that happen to feet naturally. And, what hoaxer would bother with something like that? Or dermal ridges or, so many other things I mean, those in and of themselves, I think, in my opinion, at least, are strong evidence for the possibility, the very strong possibility. Now, I do believe they're out there. I don't personally need convincing because, I with as many pieces of evidence that have been turned in and as many sightings, thousands and thousands and thousands of sightings by, pretty impressive witnesses that, have more of a liability coming forward than they do a benefit. People could very well be committing professional suicide by, coming forward saying, hey, I saw Bigfoot, but they have anyway, because it's the truth. But the stride lengths on those are looking pretty impressive. That is quite a space. People walking, there'd be another print in between there. Because we're just, people don't have very large aggressive strides, especially in snowy terrain. I mean, I look at my footprints when I walk through the snow, and it doesn't look like I'm making any progress. They're so close together.
So Duke says he sent you some good pictures of the Makalu Yeti trackway. Is that what this is?
Cool.
He says it's in the MeWe.
Oh, perfect. All right, I will pull it up. We will have a look. But I think this is really, it's too quick for people to say, well, this doesn't prove anything, because maybe it does. These pictures may not be the most impressive, but if they truly did research it and take pictures and stuff, then I think it very well may, be at least a strong consideration for the presence of it. Now I'm looking in MeWe now, and okay, so single step tight rope walk. Okay, this looks really good. Oh wow, look at that.
Oh, those are huge.
Yeah, look at that ski poles.
Huge strides.
Yeah, I got to pull this over and put it up, because that is freaking impossible. On that slope too. Look at the angle of that.
They can't.
I know they can't see yet, but I'm still like, wow. That is impressive. Look at the distance there, and those are ski poles. Those are what people use when they're mountaineering. They're the same as like downhill ski poles. They would be probably right around between the shoulder and the waist level. So it's got to be a good 4 feet each one of those poles. And there's another 1.5 feet after that. So that's a hell of a stride. And you look at that incline. This guy is standing at a perfect 90-degree angle. So you can get an idea of the slope. So this is a really aggressive stride, and it's on really tricky terrain.
Yeah.
That is really, really impressive. That's like mountain goat kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And I'm going to read what Duke said about that in just a second.
Excellent.
I haven't actually read his comment yet, but that is amazing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you sending that. That's very strong evidence in my book. Because, who the hell could fake that? You'd have to hop, and then you'd end up down in the valley anyway. You would.
You'd end up being snowballed.
Yeah. You'd be doing a Wile E. Coyote down there. All right, so let me read what Duke actually said about this, though. That's what I think is really impressive. So he says, single step, tightrope walk, no indication of quadrupedal movement. They are measuring this step length across the mountainside.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess this image that we're looking at before, these other images were actually at an angle as well. And that even makes them more impressive. Let's see. So let me get back to that. So this is another pic. So this is...
I wish this would show like the incline. If
Right.
there's an incline or...
Yeah, exactly. But if that is the angle that he's talking about in those things, that is hugely impressive, because that means this is about at least a 45-degree slope,
Right.
if not even a little more aggressive than that. Wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So, as much as some people will scoff at things like that and say, well, that doesn't prove anything. It's like, well, it kind of does. Something left those tracks. And outside of Yeti or whatever you want to call it, whatever name you choose to use, there shouldn't be any other animals up there leaving bipedal trackways
Right.
with that kind of gap. There shouldn't be. I mean, it just kind of, these are the people steps here, right? So these are the people steps checking them out, I assume. And that's probably been tracked and retracked by many people, going back and forth and getting different angles on it. But...
Right.
You can see that there's no huge, I don't know what this is, that drag thing there. I don't know. But very, very impressive. And thanks for sharing that, brother. I appreciate it. That definitely gives us a different angle on the whole thing. Very impressive. So you just never know, ladies and gentlemen, when they will appear. Ththese mysteries.
It's crazy thinking about stuff like that, though. Because if that was a 6-foot stride, I know that I have about a 2.5. I have a foot and a half to 2 foot stride.
Yeah. So you imagine the height.
Yeah, that's my point.
What is the height of something like that?
Something that's got a 5 to 6 foot stride.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's in the monster range.
Do you think?
Yeah, like monster size. Yeah. I get what you're saying, but you know what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, very, very cool. So that's out there, and it's definitely, hopefully there'll be more information forthcoming about those. But I think that stuff is really exciting. Very, very exciting. Oh, wow, this is weird. Huh. Another flying creature.
What?
Another flying creature.
Is it an ahul? I've been wanting to say that since earlier. We were doing the podcast thing.
Yeah,
well, I wanted to say it all night.
So now it says that this is, I don't know how much of this I should read. Again, this is somebody that contacted the Single 40, and I don't necessarily have their permission to read the article, so I'm not going to read it at length, but I'm going to read you some parts of it. This is just in the spirit of sharing paranormal information, and I'm not taking any credit for this material. But it said they got an email, and the person said they grew up in Waukegan, in Victory. And the dad worked late nights at Victory Hospital, Memorial Hospital, which they believe is located along the Sheridan Road. Where is this, though? I'm trying to figure out where this sighting took place. Now, this sighting is from 1976, so it's not like it's new, but this is somebody relating a sighting their father told them about. I don't know where it is, though. I'm just trying to glance quickly. 76, I was 14 at the time.
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan area?
Yeah, that's the last part of the first big paragraph.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's in the Lake Michigan area. And what happened was it was a full moon. They were in the parking lot where my dad was giving a guy's car a jump when my dad, as he often told it, suddenly felt scared, as if something was watching them. There were two or more very tall silos there, or some other structures. And they were probably 3 stories high. And as Dad looked up in the moonlight, he saw a black figure crouched down watching them. It had glowing red eyes. That's always a bad sign, Don.
Glowing red eyes?
Glowing red eyes are always a bad sign.
Always a bad sign.
There's never anything good that follows, hey, it had glowing red eyes.
Other than, oh my God!
Yeah, other than
But
screams.
That's not good, though.
Yeah,
Those are good
exactly.
things.
So he told his friend to look, so they both saw it. And Dad said the creature was probably around 6 feet tall because it was so high up. Mm-hmm. And even from that angle, it looked large. It definitely was not a bird or anything he had ever seen before. Dad said he sensed it was evil. That's the red eyes, I think. That's the evil thing. It's radiating evil eyes. So they removed the jumper cables, and he and his friend took off in Dad's car. They didn't even bother to lock up his friend's car. They were just that frightened. And as they drove, they heard a loud swooshing sound, and something seemed to hit the side across the top, or hit and slide across the top of the Dad's car. He kept going, convinced this thing was trying to drive them off the road. Wow. So something that could fly, was about 6 feet tall, had glowing red eyes.
Glowing red eyes.
That's all kinds of wrong.
That's kind of get the hell out of here.
Right?
I'm with them.
No, I agree. I think that's probably the right thing to do, is get the hell out.
Yeah.
Now, I like this story better than the last one, where the guy had something smash into his window and he washed it off.
Didn't bother to get any evidence of it.
He didn't bother to collect a sample of the gooey slime, a hair, an appendage. He didn't bother to scrape the carcass off the road. He just nope.
And he was an
investigator.
investigator.
Yeah. He was an investigator, but he might want to think of another profession.
Because he's not very good at that one.
Yeah. He definitely needs to learn about actually investigating, because you don't wash the slime of cryptids off your windshield. Even if you have somewhere to go, you collect it and then wash what's left. So very, very weird.
The first sounds you would hear if it was me that hit it would have been, God, where's that bag?
Yeah, exactly. Give me that sandwich bag.
I need that stick over there.
Right. Yeah. You'd be scraping. Absolutely. I would be. I'd be like, nope, this is going into the baggie.
Pam's like an investigator that doesn't investigate. Yeah.
I know. So the story goes, and we shared it on a couple shows ago, maybe. Yeah. But it was a guy was traveling along in his truck, and some small winged creature, bat-like creature, but it looked humanoid. And by small, around, maybe 6 or 8 inches, very tiny, smacked into his windshield and basically exploded. So it fell off onto the road, but it left all this gooey slime behind. And so he gets out and starts scrubbing it off.
He washes it off.
He washes it off. I don't know. I don't remember if he was at a gas station or what, but he pulled over and washed it off. Didn't bother collecting it, but made sure to tell everybody about what happened. So that's an investigator, apparently.
Yeah, apparently that's all it takes.
And I don't know if the guy happens to be listening. I'm sorry, but you really should have been. You should have probably collected a sample. I think that would have been the first best thing to do.
Stick would have been fine.
I got the visions of Ghostbusters where he's like with the cup and the ectoplasm. Just something. I don't know. So yeah, that's very wild. But this is obviously a bigger version of that in this tonight's story.
Those glowing red eyes always throw you off. You're like, oh.
Yeah, there's nothing good comes from glowing red eyes, as far as I can tell.
No.
I mean, it's just ugly.
Even Zach Bagans will agree with that one.
Yeah, I think he's got his hands full with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Well.
But maybe he's seen glowing red eyes. I don't remember if he ever brought it up on an episode I've watched. I'm sure Lewis might know, though. He seems to know all about ghost adventures.
He does.
He is. He's an avid watcher.
As a matter of fact, he just said he has a ghost app running on his phone, and it said Dawn.
Dawn. Wow. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I told him to turn it off.
Delete.
Boop, 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 boop. Bye.
Yep. Time to delete. No, I don't know. I mean, again, the ghost apps are really cool and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I believe something may trigger it to happen,
Right.
but I don't think the words necessarily mean anything for the most part. We've gotten some really odd correlations, but even then, we kind of have to, figure out how it correlates. It's not so obvious that, like for instance, when we were upstairs in the other location for the show, and it's probably in our YouTube archives.
Probably.
Yeah, we were
This
running
is all archived.
We were running the Ghost app, and the Ghost Radar came up, and there was a dot like right where Don would have been sitting in the Ghost Radar room. So it does this sweep like this, and it shows dots when a presence is near. I was like, oh, Don, it's like sitting on your lap. And Don's like, oh, no, it better not be. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's giving you a lap dance.
That's right, yeah.
And then all of a sudden on the Ghost app, the word refund comes through.
Comes up.
I said, never mind, Don, it wants a refund. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was a good one. It said something else later, too. Oh, it said Wyoming?
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did say Wyoming. Every once in a while we'll spit out these words, but I'm not always sure what they mean.
Well, I think we were talking, or something happened. I think had something to do with Sarah.
Well, no, that's what we correlated. It's like, well, who's in
yeah.
Wyoming? And it's like, oh, Sarah's in Wyoming. We know that, but other than that, we don't know why the word came up or what it was in reference to.
Wasn't that the one also that said tractor? Didn't it say tractor?
Yes.
So a refund and a tractor.
Refund, tractor, and it was just random words. So I do believe that there might be something to what triggers it, but I'm not very convinced that the words it triggers are
Pertinent to anything.
right. They're just a trigger.
Wow.
No, that's still kind of cool, but yeah. So,
Wow.
oh man, I just got another message. Okay, that has nothing to do with the show.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, very cool. Now I did have another site that I wanted to talk about some stuff that I found on there that I thought was pretty cool if I can find it. I think this is it. No, this isn't it. I think it might be back. No, this is Linda. Nope, it's not there. Where did I do with that tab?
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know how you guys can keep up with like 40 tabs open.
Well, the problem is clearly I can't. I believe I can until it actually comes time. There it is. I found it.
Yeah.
So now there's a new bit of footage coming out of Russia, and I'm not going to go through it, but there's a newer video coming out of some people driving in a car, and this comes from Squatch News Digest. Squatch News. What is it? The URL. It's a weird URL, and it's paper.li/Squatch News. And they're talking about this new sighting that came out of Russia now. It's a bunch of people in a car, and it's at about dusk. So it's that in-between time. And if you'll recall, Don, when Bear was on the show, he's like, the times when they have the hardest time seeing the Bigfoot is either dusk or dawn. Okay. It's that in-between light that they just get kind of, I don't know. He felt like they couldn't see very well in that period of time. Now, that's about the right period of time for this sighting. So these people are going on. The footage, of course, is really grainy, really, I don't know, out of focus. It's not pristine. It's not great footage. But they're driving along this country road, and off on the side in the tall grass is this humanoid figure. And they kind of slow down and are looking, and then suddenly it starts charging the car, and then it's like they're kind of playing chicken with it. So like they pull away, and then the thing will kind of go back to what it was doing. They back up, it comes out, and it kind of seems like it's, like, hey, get out of here. Hey, what are you doing? I'm, trying to eat some grass here. But it's really pretty ambiguous, but that is out there. I can pull up the page and probably show you maybe some screenshots if they have them. Let me see. Yeah, there's a screenshot here. So I'll pull this up so you guys can see it. I think it's interesting. I'm not... Now, the shoulders and head on this thing are pretty amazing. It could really be a Squatch. I'm not sure. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the screenshots on the thing. So they're driving along, And that's about as good as the film quality is. So you can see it's pretty, I don't know, foggy or, hard. It's certainly not crisp in any measure of the word, but it does. Yeah, there's this one shot here that looks really impressive. Now, here's the thing that makes me kind of convinced there might be something to some of these. And my point is that everybody wants to jump to, well, it's in a monkey suit. It's wearing shoulder pads. It has arm extensions, all these things. But there's some videos, and this wouldn't necessarily be one that I would qualify as. But what I will say is if you look at this frame here, this still from this video, now you see a real pronounced deltoid muscle here. And it's clearly, the arm is up in the air and being held back. The size of that arm is incredibly impressive. The no neck, the pile of head on top of a shoulder without any seeming neck. And then the expanse to this shoulder. Now, if somebody's wearing shoulder pads don't change shape. They do allow an arm to extend or go down, but they're always shoulder pads. It's not really hard to see that a football player is wearing shoulder pads. And when they move, their bodies move underneath of the shoulder pads, and they do, have some flexion to them, obviously. But this is a huge contrast from one shoulder to the other. And this, to me, really speaks to the fact that it could very well be the anatomy itself, because that's a huge discrepancy from one shoulder to the next, including a real shrug on this shoulder and an extension on this shoulder. So that's a different metric on each side, basically, that has changed due to the positioning. To me, that seems to maybe give it a lot more validity, that it's not just a person with a suit, right? Because if this were shoulder pads, both shoulders would be equally spread out here. One would be over here. This would have a more pronounced lump on it, because there is a gap between the shoulder pad curvature and where the arm actually extends out from it. There's always that point of demarcation there, right. Much like what this would look like. But this side, by all intents and purposes, if it was shoulder pads, should equal this dimension on both sides. It should not have such a variation. So this leads me to believe this very well could be an actual Bigfoot, and this very well could be, a very organic thing. It's not necessarily a suit.
Right.
Now, you'll never gain too much information from watching it other than there is something there that seems to charge at their car. This still frame is probably the best part of the whole video, to be honest with you. This one up here is really ambiguous. Right. It's hard to make any heads or tails of what we're seeing here. But what you do see is, again, another positioning of these shoulders. It's not, shoulder pads would be more straight out on both sides. It wouldn't have this gradual slope that we're seeing here. What?
Right. Oh, I coughed and Hacker said, "Bless you."
Oh,
I said, "Thank you."
Okay. So I think that's strong, and it may actually give it some credence. Those are my reflections of this, and I'm by no means any kind of established researcher. I'm just an enthusiast, but this is what I'm seeing. I think I tend to be pretty logical for the most part.
I think you're right though, because as you move with shoulder pads on, or whatever that is, they're not gonna flex, they're not gonna move like you were talking about. They'll always be there. You'll always see. Remember the jackets that women used to wear in the 80s?
Those squared off,
big, squared off
foam pads,
and they never moved. Even when they lifted their arm, it creased under the shoulder pad. Yep. And it would, they never moved. Right. Or they would end up touching their ear, the top of their ears. Mm-hmm. So they don't, you're right, organic. It does harken to organic.
So, and as a comparison, again, look at this picture and the positioning of the shoulders, and then go to the still frame taken from the footage. That's two very different poses, and two very different, dimensional shifts, and by dimension I mean measurement, not by reality or anything.
Dang it.
Yeah, we're not going there, but you know what I mean. I think that's something I'm looking for more and more as I'm looking at these videos, because when somebody's in a suit, it's just very static. Right. There's something very static and artificial about a suit. It doesn't take much to see most suits and most fabrications because they look like it. Like for instance, there's a popular video out there of two bow hunters. One of them's a competitive hunter, and they allegedly have a close encounter in Idaho with a Bigfoot, and it appears for a fraction of a second on the video, and then they charge off trying to get it because they're brave and amazingly brave. But that brief second that thing is on the screen, I'm like, fake. It's just that quick. It's like it doesn't have any real organic feel to it for me when I'm seeing those few frames that the thing is actually in the scene.
Right. It's not convincing.
No, to me it's not. And I'm not saying that makes it conclusive by any measure. And I'm not, again, claiming to be a person that you should base your opinions on. But these are things that are occurring to me as I'm looking at these different videos and evidences that are presented.
Right.
And this to me at least is really convincing because it's two very different shapes to this mass. And I think that it very well might be. But again, I don't know. I can't be sure. But interesting enough anyway. I know that cryptids are a big part of what people like to come on the show to see and hear about. And so I like covering the Sasquatch stuff as well. And other cryptid stuff, but for all that matter as well. But those are just some things I look for. Take it or leave it. I would recommend looking at reviews by Thinker Thunker if you're looking into what's going on in Bigfoot videos, because he has a pretty strong criteria for going through these things that include measurements, how people measure versus how a lot of these Bigfoot videos measure.
Right. And
And he's even gone out on a limb and said, look, I think this is real and this is why. And he'll put up his measurements about how, so basically humans and apes have very different body dimensions.
Yep.
They both can be bipedal and they both, and all of that. But a human's arms are much shorter than their legs, by about 20% shorter or 25%. But for a lot of the great apes, there's only like a 5% difference between the arm length and the leg length. And he uses that criteria in his measurements, watching how it walks, even the leg flexion that human do, even when they're wearing clown feet and stuff like that. There's not a big variation between the stride of a human, even when they're wearing clown feet or high heels on sand or tennis shoes or barefoot. It's just basically the same mechanics over and over with maybe just a slight variation. And then he goes back and shows footage like of Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, and you see a near 90 degree flexion, and the mechanics are completely different from when it swings its foot forward versus when people do. And he does a great job breaking down several examples of people walking in tracks, their motion, and how absolutely almost identical they are, even given those different variations. And then he'll show the Sasquatch, and you can see the mechanics are so much more profound. And just profound in that they're very, very different from the human ones. So I think there's some great information out there. I like it personally. I like the Thinker Thunker videos because at the very least he's putting himself out there. He's using some form of measurement criteria.
Some type of science.
Yes, exactly. An anatomy. He's using an anatomy scale to quantify these things, and I think that's really cool and powerful. And I'm giving him a pat on the back here on the air for whatever it's worth. I don't know if he pays any attention to what we do or not, but I really
we
do
sure like it.
yeah, exactly. But I think he's onto something. He's really, really, he's at least going out there with some kind of criteria to not just, oh, that's fake. I get so tired of that. Why is it fake? I don't know. It's just fake. You can tell. It's CGI. Everything's CGI. It's like, no.
Present your
Right.
proof. Present your hypothesis.
Yep.
And let everybody take a shot at it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's anybody can say fake. And what does that mean? You say fake, but what is your criteria? Why is it fake?
Yep.
What are you seeing? And I challenge people all the time when I'm talking on message boards and stuff. It's like, okay, why is it fake? What are you seeing? Because honestly, I want to know. If they're seeing something I'm not, and I've used this example many times, but there was this real ambiguous picture that was out there. And it was this weird furry mass in just a strange thing, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I stared at it for quite a long time, and I was like, God, I don't know what I'm looking at. That is really weird.
Oh yeah.
And and I kept following that message board.
Right.
And it took a deer hunter to go, no, man, that's a white-tailed deer, and this is what's going on. He's
the
this
back
way.
end of a
You can
deer.
see this. And once he said it, it was like, boom. I could see everything he was talking about. It's like, yes, he's right. That's a deer.
Right.
But I didn't see that. And then there's another one by a feeder that's real popular that people believe is a Sasquatch peeking over the bushes far away. And somebody came in and goes, that's a crow. And here's why. Here's where the feathers are. Here's where the wingspan is. And it was like all of a sudden that big squatch that was about 40 yards in the distance was a crow that was pretty close to the camera. It's like, oh, yes, it is. Now I see it. So, I ask people, why do you think that's fake? What are you seeing?
Right, present your
Because I
information.
want to know, or
Right.
I want to shut them up if they're just being ridiculous.
Right.
Like,
Well, Bama just said it too. And how many Bigfoots have they seen to compare it to?
right. and that's what Jerry Klein says. That's what Duke says. It's like, they're sitting in these armchairs with all these expert opinions,
Yep.
but they don't produce anything.
Yep.
And that's a good point. If you're going to disparage somebody's work, then come forward, say why. Now I will say this, and I think this is, my hat's really off to Jerry for this. I'm really, really impressed by this. He's put it out there in his last video, $1,000 to anybody that can
Yep.
prove he's hoaxing.
Yep.
Now, I don't care who you are. It's easy for people to say, no, that's fake. No, that's real. No, that's fake. That's real. But once you put money on it, it's like, that goes to show you how much that man believes in what he's doing.
Yep.
And now I like to consider myself a really good judge of character, and I can just, for whatever reason, now I worked for like 15 years in corrections, and you have to be pretty good at telling what a person's about, because you're going to end up in a world of hurt if you don't.
That's right.
And I managed to make it through my whole career with without hardly any problems, because I could just walk into a room and go, oops, something's off. Well, Jerry's one of those guys that I'm here to tell you, and it may put me on the radar for some haters, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but this is my opinion. The man has put $1,000 out there for anybody that wants to can prove that what he's done is fake. Now, everyone else out there, if you're not stepping up to the plate, if you're sitting out there just talking smack about the guy, but you're not stepping up to the plate to tell him why, or to tell everyone why, then, keep it to yourself.
Shut the hell up.
Well, it's because the guy's out there doing the work. He's out
Right.
there making his effort into helping a lot of us understand what this thing is. I can't get out there. I can't. Very, very occasionally do I get out there, and I don't claim to be a researcher. But, I do believe that he's a sincere man. I really do. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'm going to back his play, because at least he's put his money where his mouth is. And until something else changes, then, he's got my vote.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I don't want this show to be about one camp versus another camp. That's never going to be what it's about.
Yeah,
but
that's gotta
the
stop.
portal is a discussion.
Yep.
And this is my discussion. This is my 2 cents about this discussion. If you disagree with that, create a video, on your channel, and make your statement. That's cool. But this is where I'm at. So take it or leave it. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to dwell on that any longer, but it's just something I just wanted to go out and just say, hey, this is how I feel. This is what I've seen. This is what I believe. And do I have to be right? No, I don't have to be, but I believe I am. And so,
And until you can prove to me differently.
yeah, if you can prove to
just
me
the way
that,
it is.
that's not the case, then, fantastic. And maybe you'll be $1,000 richer. But if you can't, then just make your own videos and say what you want. So,
Shut the hell up.
yeah. So anyway,
Wow.
I got way up on a soapbox on that one, but I just think it's just some people are really doing they're doing the boots on the ground. They're putting the blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I think at least you got to honor that effort, and stand by them as much as you can. So that is that. So another possible Bigfoot track is found, Don.
Where? Where's this one?
Well, let's find out. Let's find out.
Can you
together.
pronounce it?
Probably not. Probably not. So here's what I'm going to say. Now this is coming and I can't put it on screen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have permission, but it's coming from Crypto Crew. But go over to cryptocrew.com. I don't know anything about this site. I don't know anything about the people that run this site. But
that was just posted like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it looks like it's something pretty new. I don't know. I don't know much about it. Kentucky. Okay. Well, they got Bigfoot in Kentucky. So.
In the Adirondacks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that first, because I would have butchered the hell out of that. They're the Adirondacks, Don.
Sure.
And if you're not sure what the hell I'm talking about, I have butchered the name Adirondack for my whole life. There's something in my brain that will not allow me to pronounce that correctly. It'll always be Adirondack until someone else says, or no, it'll always be Adirondack until someone says Adirondack. Then I get about 5 minutes of proper usage. It's like I'm a vending machine for pronunciation. Insert quarter, and I'll pronounce it right. All right, what's going on here? Oh, that's nice. I'm still getting messages. That's so sweet. I gotta have more birthdays, Don.
Gosh, apparently.
I know. It's like I get all this attention.
I know.
I feel so special. Horrible. What do you mean? I'm not horrible.
He's horrible.
Yeah.
I told you about that bald spot I found the other day.
Yeah,
right?
you did. Yeah.
Which brings to mind a Rush song. I'm sorry, where did they find this footprint?
Kentucky, remember?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Is that all you're going to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things that's hard to showcase because I don't know anything about it. And I don't have permission to talk too much about it. But apparently there's a new... Now, here's something interesting, though. It's apparently the claim is the arch is so deep it's not human.
Wow.
Now, as far as I understood, and this may be me, and I'm not disparaging this track or this evidence in any way. This is me asking the question. As far as I knew, Bigfoot don't have an arch.
Bigfoot don't got arches.
Right, because they got they have the mid-tarsal break.
Right.
So, you know, they wouldn't have an arch like we do. Our break is back above our ankle, or below our ankle, or our ankle. That is the break, as far as I understand. Or farther up on the ball of the toe, we have the metatarsals, or the phalanges rather, that break with our stride on the ball of the foot. But as I understand it, the Bigfoot have the mid-tarsal, which puts it about in the middle of the bottom of the foot. And their ankles are maybe set a little bit forward from ours. So I'm not sure. That's interesting, though. I do see that says the arch is so deep it's not human.
Well, go back to the picture and see if there's a large...
They just got a stick
tell?
by it. So I don't really know.
Where would the arch be in that? If Bigfoot... Because Duke says Bigfoot's flat-footed, too. It doesn't make sense that he would have an arch because it would serve no purpose.
Right. That's what my understanding was, too, is that they... Due to the mid-tarsal hinge,
toes,
it's actually a hinge, not a break, but you know. And even from this picture, it's really ambiguous.
You really can't tell the depth on that. It's not very...
Well, they put a stick next to it. There's
yeah.
Or I think that's a stick.
It's a 2-inch twig.
Yeah, no, I don't think that they're reaching that hard. They probably really think that, and they very well may have found an actual track, but what they're accounting for as the arch may be when the mid-tarsal hinge flexes during the stride, it pushes back soil.
Right.
And so maybe they're accounting on that lump as an arch when it's actually
the
push off right from the step.
Interesting.
So they may just be misinterpreting that. I don't know. Again, that's just me with the knowledge that I have,
right?
Or the understanding that I have. I shouldn't say knowledge because I don't really have knowledge. I've never examined tracks personally. Just reviewed a whole bunch of other people that have examined tracks, and I don't know. But this was apparently, where is this coming out of? In the mountains of southeastern Kentucky. So yeah, check it out, guys, and that's on thecryptocrew.com. Is where that's coming from, and it's dated Monday, April 29th, so it's just a couple days ago, as Don said. So it's not like old evidence. That apparently is something new, and I hope it is. I hope it is the real thing. I love when new evidence comes forward because the more evidence that's collected, the stronger the case becomes for the skeptics
Duke says it leaves an upward lump or crease in the track about a third back from the toe tips.
Okay.
But would it, when they push off with their toes, would it create a divot that would push dirt back to make it look like the Bigfoot had an arch? So
I don't know. You know.
see, that was the question. But yeah, I mean, a lump or crease, it would leave I would imagine a little one, but it wouldn't leave like a deep arch impression.
Right.
So that's where that idea came from.
Right. Now I gotta go to the loo.
Really?
I do. As a matter of fact.
Gosh.
I'm sorry. I've
Gosh.
just been drinking like
It's got the bladder of
I
a
had
2-year-old.
I had Chinese buffet today, so it was really salty. So
You know, I've been wanting dim sum for a long
and
time.
I had them meats.
Dim meats.
I didn't have dim sum, but I had them meats.
You got them meat
I had,
sweats.
I had all kinds of meats. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. We don't usually do this on Wednesdays, but the last time I was balling, and now I'm now I got to go to the loo. So
Now he's balling again.
I'll be right back. Don't go away. It'll probably be cut short, so it won't be a long break, but just give me a couple minutes. All right, guys, I'm back. Don's still in the loo, but I didn't want to keep you waiting for the whole break, so I came back a little early, and I go better, which is good, because I was struggling. I was doing the pee-pee dance underneath the table here that you can't see because my legs are off camera, but I'm doing the weird crossing and stuff, trying to make it work, but I just couldn't make these last 20 minutes, so my apologies. But I'm back, and we are continuing the show. And I hope you guys are having a good night watching us and taking part in this Paranormal Mayhem. It's been an interesting show. I you know what I mean, Don?
I do. It's been a great show. And that's why I like doing these free form shows. Is they move organically.
They do. You know, you're in shadow. Did you know that? You're very shadowy. Do you want to?
What? Yeah, no, it changed since And maybe it's gotten darker in here since we
It
left.
probably has. The sunlight has died down outside. I
But
got the
yeah.
blackout curtains, but apparently they
Too
do work
dark in here.
Now it's too dark. You got to light up the beard. Not
Nice,
literally.
thank
though.
you. I don't want to be.
Not literally.
I have to call William to do some search and rescue for me because I'll be out running around like a matchstick.
Exactly. So
Help me! I'm on fire.
oh man.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Yeah, that is pretty horrible. I don't want to see your beard burn. I know you worked a long time at it. And,
Reminds me of a Richard Pryor joke.
oh, geez, probably not suitable for the show. Huh?
Probably not.
Okay, let's just leave it there. Yeah,
Oh, the stuff that comes up in the portal.
yeah. It's like a bad drain.
Sometimes, yeah.
I keep flushing that, and it come back.
Let's see here. Let's jump up here in the.
How about you talk for a while?
How about I talk for a while?
I'm good with that.
Apparently there's a lot of campers that watch this show because they dare to go into the national parks
Wow.
and forests, and then they dare to camp in them in a tent.
Well, as according to David Politis, there's a lot of safe things you can do, like always pack heat, always have a
Like-
satellite locator on you
Yeah,
at all times.
GPS
and-
type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a few things he gives as a laundry list of what to do,
Right.
because nobody has ever come up missing that has done all these things. That doesn't mean they can't, I guess, but it's just that they haven't.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I don't know. And my hats are off to all these people that do it because I think that's cool.
I think it's ridiculous. If I can't get, my at least a double size, full size bed and some real walls around me. I'm from Seattle, remember? I came from high-tech caves
Don's version of roughing it is sleeping in a queen bed.
with a microwave at least.
You poor thing.
But that doesn't mean I can't cook over an open fire though.
Oh, I know you can.
Oh,
I know you can
yes.
throw down.
Oh, I can throw them down. Yes.
Yep, you go full Bobby Flay out there on the grill. There's no question.
But I was looking for some ghost stories, and I just really not finding anything. Nothing interesting, at least. I mean,
Every
there's-
ghost story is interesting. Come
well,
on.
not really. Speaking of ghost stories, Nicholas that called in,
Uh-huh.
he needs to call in again because I guess he's got like lists of things that he's him and his wife have written down and put into put
Ooh,
into words. So
we're closing in on 100 downloads.
wow.
I just looked at our stats on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay! Nice job.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice job.
Excellent. Thank you guys, and continue to keep pulling them down.
Oh, Taz says happy birthday.
Thank you. I should have more of them. I just love all the attention.
Here we go with that line again.
I know this is a great line though because
I blew
it's
my
been.
candle out. That's what I get for putting it near my big mouth.
Well, that might be too close to your beard anyway. We're gonna have to rub your beard down in flame retardant before the show,
The ball.
or you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna be involved.
Yeah, are
in
you
that.
sure?
No, I'm
You
sure.
don't want to be my Dana Scully?
No. 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 Here's my Don laugh. No. You got that wicked cackle. Sorry, I'm not making fun of it. It's just very uniquely you. It's very uniquely you. Your sounds are very uniquely
thank
you.
you.
Which is good. That is good. I think that makes for a strong personality. But go ahead. You were saying.
Oh well, I actually I forgot, but now Travis is asking Duke about giants in Montana.
Oh man, let me tell you, it's bad enough to think that there's like 10 and 12 foot tall Bigfoots wandering around. When you get into the whole giant thing, that's
Yeah.
absolutely frightening. I mean, that is terrifying.
Well, and then you have those pictures that Duke sent us of the cloaked Bigfoot.
Yes, that's creepy
That's
too.
scary too.
Well, yeah,
Oh my god.
if they can indeed cloak, then there's something
But
really.
yeah, giants, mountain giants. Oh my
Thank
god.
you,
Oh, they brought a troll.
LGD. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, what was that from?
And the LOTR.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
oh, look,
the
they
first
brought
one,
a
yeah.
troll. Yeah, that's right. When they're in the
They
mines
brought
of
a mountain
Moria.
troll.
Yep, the mines of Moria. That's right. There's- Anyway,
Wow.
that was some great emoticons there, LJD. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Happy birthday. Balloons, poppers.
That's about as festive as I could ever hope for.
Confetti poppers, not the other ones.
Nicholas is in the chat. Yeah, we know he is, Noah.
He says, I
Or
have
Nelly.
500 files on
Nelly.
Supernatural, but mostly notes that I need to write someday.
You know, I really loved that what Nick read on the show last night. That interview with a spirit, to me was so profound, and it totally echoes so many things that I've heard throughout the years, and it just made so much sense to me that I have no question that was an actual contact with a spiritual presence.
Now you said that his wife sees them and he hears them.
That's correct. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and what a cool thing, right? So, I mean, talk about the recipe for a great marriage.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
You've got to work together. There's just no way one could do it alone, really, because I mean, it's the full meal deal. Then,
Yeah.
very, very cool. But yeah, and I appreciate that, Nick. I will look forward to anything else you want to submit to the show, because it was so very profound. I'm still reeling because of that interview. It just has put together so many things in my mind. I'm just really impressed.
William, why did you bring up little people? William says, I think little people just do not get the attention they deserve in discussions.
Well, the funny thing is,
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Don and I were just recording a podcast for the podcast before the show, and we're discussing little people.
So if you want to know more about the little people, guess you're
Subscribe.
going to have to go to the podcast.
It'll probably air in about at some point in the future.
Probably.
We've got several episodes that we've already recorded that are going to be going out. Friday's episode, of course, is an interview with
Duke Sullivan.
Mr. Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio is the star of Friday's episode on our podcast. So a great discussion we had discussing Bigfoot.
When I was doing the production on that, I was listening to it. I was like, "Oh, that is so cool."
It's a great episode. It's a great episode. I've been so pleased. I'm already pleased doing these regular episodes.
Yeah.
Like last night's show, and every time people call in, I'm always like at the end of the show, I'm like, God, that was a good show. That felt really good. Because when you have a great show, it. I mean, it just like goes through you like, wow, you just got this stupid smile on your face for about an hour.
Right.
Like, oh, that was such a good show.
Kind of like sativa.
It's like hitting a blunt. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But it is. It's just that stupid smile I get every time after a great episode. And I've had so many of those lately. And I love every episode. Don't get me wrong. But there's some episodes that I just get done with, and it's like, oh, that's a good one. And I'm so excited for what people will come back with. It's just that waiting to watch somebody unwrap the present that is the perfect present.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like after those amazing episodes. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait till this one goes live. So
no doubt.
tomorrow is definitely, Friday rather. Friday's episode is definitely one of those, as have been every one of them so far. The first episode, of course, I read through some listener emails.
By the way, Lady Death said she was excited that she made the first episode.
I saw that.
She's like, "Yay, I was on the first episode."
Yeah, that was cool. And we had again it also touched on what's his name's that talked about the Culver. Why can't I think of his name?
Gosh, it went right out of my head.
Yeah, but he had written in a long story that has to do with the area that we're in, which is really cool.
Yeah, which happens to be like 2 miles from my house.
Right. It's really cool, which has inspired Don and my desire to do some investigating in the dead of night in that area to see if we can maybe see what that guy saw. Because if it's, I'm assuming that it's a residual kind of thing. I'm assuming that it is. And so it may have just been he was in the right place at the right time, and that happened to be the right time of year for that to happen. Right. But I'm thinking if it is residual, maybe just somebody being there is the trigger. I don't know.
And that was something else. And that kind of relates to what you were talking about to me earlier. We were talking about Nicholas's story, and you said that the lights you saw that in the story.
Yes. I saw
the lights as the humans or the interaction from the
I hadn't-
living beings.
I hadn't shared that with Nicholas yet, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I wasn't keeping it secret or anything. But
Well, it
in
makes
listening
sense.
to Nicholas's
Sorry.
story,
I think I broke
Nicholas, no, what?
I think I may have broke something.
Where?
Wait, in the conversation.
Oh no,
'Cause I didn't know it was.
Well, no, it's. If you listen to last night's episode, Nick reads this interview that he
Right.
did with an earthbound spirit. He and his wife conducted an interview over an extensive period of time. Basically, it's an interview trying to understand what that spirit experiences, and they call it the gray. That they're kind of stuck in this gray.
Right.
And they talk about going dormant and coming out, and all these weird emotions coming in, and the lights keep coming. Now, what I'm pretty sure those lights are, and this is from a very intuitive place, but I think the lights that these spirits are experiencing are the human beings coming into the vicinity of these spirits. And the lights can be happy, they can be sad, they can have weird memories that trigger memories in the spirit. And so they experience our presence as these lights in their gray that they're stuck in. And I think that I'm not positive, and maybe Nick would have a different idea of what the lights were, but I think that that's what they are. And the reason that I say that is because another person that's very involved with the Paranormal Portal, his name is Sean. He's a psychic. He's talked about how spirits become inactive, but when people come around, they become active. And that's, what happens in some of these abandoned buildings and stuff is these spirits aren't just wandering around all the time, but once somebody comes, it's like they activate, whether it's from the energy of that person that activates them or whatever.
Right.
And so I wonder if they perceive that as the lights that Nick brought up in his story.
Right.
So,
Well, he says emotion as energy is how he tried to explain it.
right.
So,
But people carry emotion. I
yeah,
mean, we
yeah.
are always
Right.
beacons of emotional energy, whatever happens to be going on in our life. We think we experience these emotions within our shell, but we don't. We radiate them out into the world around us, into the universe. This energy doesn't just exist within these shells. We are beacons of emotional energy.
Yeah.
And so,
William says exactly. People carry them. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's agreeing. Yeah.
okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, negative or positive, exactly. And so, as these people came into this spirit's
Realm.
vicinity,
Yeah.
she became aware of that light, and would feel that emotional charge. And I think that definitely connected so many dots for me. And I know I said that before, but it really did. It was such a profound story, and it just hit such a deep place with me. It's like, yes, that makes sense now. All these other things that I'd heard, these little fragments just came together into this one more cohesive idea.
Right. The pieces start clicking together.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I think that's the power of these opportunities to share, is that we glean information from each other, we glean ideas, we glean knowledge. And nobody else that I've ever heard of has interviewed and over a period of time in which they also helped the spirit cross over.
Right.
Which is so cool as well. So it wasn't stuck in limbo, but that's really amazing. So, just very, very powerful stuff. And he said he's been carrying this around. He's had people offer to publish it in their magazines and stuff, and
Right.
he just never knew when the right time to do it. But he felt last night he was compelled to share it.
Wow.
And I'm really honored by that. It's like, wow, really? For me?
Well, and that's funny because that's like twice in the last couple weeks, people have come to our show and shared things that they've never shared before.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. That's kind of what I was referring to when I mentioned earlier, you're safe here. It's a good place to tell these stories because we're here to hear those stories.
Right.
And that's just so awesome that people are really jumping on that and saying, well, they're being moved by something somewhere to tell these stories, because these stories are too good. They're too insightful to just, I suppose there has to be a right time, and I just blew my candle out again. There has to
It
be a
ain't
right
even
time.
your birthday, and you keep blowing
I know.
out candles, dog.
Here, hold on, let me light this for you, and you can blow it out. Here you go, blow that sucker out. Woohoo! Happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm running out of birthday though. I'm
Oh,
looking
that's
at-
all right. That's at least I got you to blow my candle up.
Oh God, you just had to kill that, didn't you?
Come on, baby.
You couldn't even leave it beautiful.
I know.
You couldn't even leave it beautiful. You had to just flush it down the damn toilet. Oh,
Oh, so anyhow, Christy Monster Truck Gal just joined us.
awesome.
Was that her video?
It was.
Oh wow.
That was her video. We shared it. Christy.
Yeah. I hope your mom's okay. She says she's in the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did the show the video? Yes, we did. It was a great video, amazing video, and everybody really loved it. I'm just really honored you sent that in as well. Thank you so much.
So we have such. We have our family that comes here. They feel safe. They get to know us, and they share these things. It's just absolutely.
Electric.
It's awesome. It's just great.
It is.
It's just,
It is really cool. And thank you guys for every show that you come to and are a part of. Again, you guys make every show amazing. Even just by virtue of being in the chat room, I don't mean to elevate anyone over anyone else. Every one of you is a dear and precious part of this. And thank you guys so much. We're kind of running out of show.
Yep.
And we got to finish recording that podcast.
Oh
after
yeah,
this.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're only halfway done.
I'm
so.
glad I left that information up. So.
Yeah. So we can get back to that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Don, anything in closing?
Just thank you. We do have the exclusive content going up on the podcast, so check that out. You can find the links just about everywhere. I'll see if I can't drop them here in a second in the thing. But thank you to all of you who listen and really contribute to the show. We're just honored, and thank you very much. Also, don't forget Paisley Wild on Friday night, 11 o'clock on TFR Live.
Well, she's got a podcast herself, right?
She does. Yeah, that's right. She does. I don't know why I forgot that. She does, but I can't remember the thing. I'll have to do that too.
Okay, so look for the Spaces Between.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of her show, and she does a podcast as well. So very cool. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Please take care of each other. Please help each other out. Everybody, please say a prayer for Christy's mom, and we'll hope everything goes well. And, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Okay,
But-
there's the link for the podcast.
Okay. There's the link for the podcast. So we'll get that all posted as well in the show description. But love you all. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I will be back tomorrow night. And let's see, you'll be joining me again on Saturday.
It's so hard for me to remember what day it is.
I know. Well, I'm just glad you made it on tonight. So
Well, I absolutely enjoy it. So good night.
all right, good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Love y'all.